In three, two, one, and please begin, Harry.
Alright, we should be live.
Hello, everyone. If you heard us earlier in the night, that was a lie. It never happened. Welcome to Hello, Pete. Welcome to Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. My name is Scrappy Fan 92, and with me today are Harry, Tanner, Raideran, and Joey.
Redeem
Hi.
yourself.
Gang of goofballs.
Way to redeem yourself. Immediately stutter through the intro after we just did Shadow the Hedgehog multiverse ASMR.
Yeah.
I am only human, Tanner. We are here today to resume a reading of the Team Fortress 2 fanfic Ceasefire Days by, I still can't pronounce the username, Saru HR, I don't know. That prolific Team Fortress 2 writer.
I realized that it's an Australian man apologizing to you. Sorry. Or maybe
Anyway.
it's an Australian man trying to apologize to you, but he gets distracted, like, sorry! He got startled.
Excuse me. Speaking of startling, I guess, events, we do not have Pedriva with us today, so his role of spy is being passed on to Tanner for the moment.
We haven't had Ped show up in a while in general,
We haven't had Tanner show up in a while, so hey Tanner, welcome back.
True.
Hi everyone. I was trying to get my life together, and that didn't work. So now I'm back in the pit again.
You're trying to get your life...
Thy bidding. I'm back to do thy bidding, master.
You tried to get your life back together, and then you went back to story time.
Will you feed me more than the skins of the chickens that you eat? Would you feed me more than scraplings, master?
I'm not addressing that. I mean, it's good that you're back because we need to, I guess, get back in some semblance of, I don't know,
regular cast.
Peak, yeah, peak condition for the project, which is done. But we need people for fifth recording.
I was gonna say just like getting back to a semblance of complete insanity, more like.
Yeah, no, it's fine. None of my bits have landed tonight, and I have a... What the fuck are scraplings? What the fuck did I just say?
I mean, the bit landed.
I completely missed the scraplings bit.
I heard it, it landed, I just did not address it.
Okay.
So today's episode, story arc, whatever you want to call it, for Ceasefire Days. What? I hear some...
Yeah, I now play the spy today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so...
Butterfly my tricks. And also peeling the wings off of butterflies and devouring them.
Jeez. So... Okay, today's arc for Ceasefire Dates involves the Red Team mercenaries getting stuck in a snowstorm. It's kind of wild, so I guess we're gonna get right into it.
Alright. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Ceasefire. This is Ceasefire Days, Chapter 7. Lord of the Frogs, Part 1. The trip to Cold Front was always an annoying one for Red Team. It involved being cramped in a train compartment with one another, without weapons and only a stack of decade-old magazines for entertainment. It was a 6-hour ride from Process, and there were no bathroom breaks, which seemed to bother everyone but Sniper, who had already filled the ball specifically for Girardi.
Girardi, by the way, stands for jar-based karate, canonically.
I figured.
I just wanted to point that out.
The train ran automatic, the front car consisting of the manual override controls, the middle with the unlucky 9 men, and the last with boxes of cargo Miss Pauling told them to unload at Cold Front. Although they were all dressed in uniform, as well as coats, scarves, hats, and gloves to keep out the chill, the mercenaries were notably lacking their weapons. They were shipped to the base one day earlier. Due to an unfortunate accident during the last train ride that no one wanted to relive, they were seen as a fire hazard. Thankfully, the trip had been quiet so far, and only one more hour remained until they reached the base. Scout had been napping the entire time. Lucky for his team, sprawled out across 2 seats in a small train car. Across from him, Sniper had pulled out the folding table and was settled on reading one of the crappy magazines he knew word for word. In the seat behind him, Spy, scribbling in one of the magazines. In the seat behind him, Spy was scribbling in one of the magazines, a cigarette between his upturned lips. On the other side of the car, Pyro, Heavy, Engineer, Demo Man, and Medic were involved in a card game. Soldier had joined earlier, but dropped out due to the fact that he was a bad liar and kept getting called out on his BS. Instead, he sat by the window, every once in a while whacking the glass with a rolled up magazine. He sighed. He missed his shovel, and gosh damn it, he had to take a massive piss. Suddenly there was a screech, and the train pulled to an abrupt stop. There was a lurch forward, then another screech, before the entire thing stopped. Everyone froze.
Yo, we there yet?
Grumbled Scout, getting up from the bench he had curled up on, one hand moving to wipe the sleep from his eyes. Soldier sneered as he glared out into the snow. He could barely see anything, and it was definitely not because of his helmet that near covered half his face. All right, I'd like to remind everyone it's been several months since we recorded for this story. I have forgotten how to voice Engineer. I'm pretty sure the trip is longer than this, mumbled Engineer, setting his cards face down on the table and starting to get up from his seat next to Medic. I'm gonna go check up front to see what's up. The Texan made his way to the front car, while everyone else seemed to return to their business. Everyone but Soldier, who was itching for some sort of blue mercenary to drop in from the roof and attack. Deciding he needed to make the first move, the veteran went over to the end of the train car and slid open a side door, letting in a gust of wind and snow.
Holy hell! Wait, is that not? No. Getting the voices together. 1 second. Let me mute 1 second. Holy hell! Close enough.
Griped Demo Man, looking up from the cards in his hand.
What are you doing?
This isn't no ordinary malfunction. Soldier mumbled. Oh, it's Soldier. For the love of Pete.
That was my line. We can't be getting characters confused this early.
No, we can't be doing the gas leak episode this early. I feel like we set a bad precedent with the shadow bit, and it's all just gonna be downhill from here.
The shadow bit mixed everyone up.
Yeah.
Doesn't help
Oh,
that my demo man sounds like Sniper when I said holy hell.
Okay. This is no ordinary malfunction.
Soldier mumbled ominously, jumping out onto the snow as his fellow mercenaries stred after him. Stred? Okay.
Get in here! Get in here! You'll get sick!
Scolded Medic, scowling. That was one thing the Medigun couldn't heal, and no way in hell was Medic going to attend a soldier on cold medication. The Patriot didn't listen, glancing around a snowy mountainside. There was nothing in front of the train, but that didn't mean someone hadn't fiddled with the brakes somehow. Behind him, a still smoking Spy dropped down from the car and took a look around. While Soldier stalked alongside the train, eyeing the roof, Spy bent down and looked under, examining the wheels with a frown. He had really been enjoying drawing faces in all those models.
Hey, would you close that?
Snapped Sniper, shrugging his coat closer and stashing the magazine in it.
Some of us aren't meant for this weather. Only if a hug is gonna get those wankers to close the door.
Grumbled out Sniper, one hand on his Girardi bottle as some sort of comfort.
It is not so bad.
Mumbled the only Russian of the group, gazing out at soldiers back in the snow.
Could be very much worse.
Or better.
Or better.
I saw the letter.
Complained Scout, alert and sitting up now, tightening the red scarf around his neck.
We dare or not?
Before anyone could respond, Engineer returned from the front car, the door sliding closed behind him. Sliding closed behind him, I don't know. I think something on the track caught the wheels. I can't take manual control of the train either. Won't budge a darn bit. The man informed, eyebrows furrowed and frowning.
We can remove the problem from the wheels?
Asked Medic, standing up with some hopefulness. Engineer reached to scratch the back of his head. Well, maybe, but the way this thing is built so close to the ground might make that difficult, especially since we're on the mountainside.
Maggots!
Soldier literally jumps back up into the jumps back up into the car, looking mighty serious.
We have a situation!
Well, that much is obvious.
Spy climbs back up into the car next to Soldier.
There was an animal on the tracks. Slid under the wheels. There was an animal on the tracks. Slid under the wheels and got caught in gears.
He stopped to puff out some smoke.
I believe.
It took Engineer only a few minutes to confirm that animal remains were lodged under the first and second cars, but he couldn't quite say how much damage was done. The balding man sighed, pulling his hood of his coat over his beanie. He had a bad feeling. Without his toolbox, he couldn't even begin to fix what was wrong, especially without the train's blueprints.
Well?
Scout popped his head out of the cart, squinting into the snow that fell.
Can't we just roundhouse kick that stupid freaking animal out?
Engineer shook his head and stepped back into the train car as Scout moved back. The Texan slid the door closed inside, feeling the eyes of all his teammates on him. Well, the good news is whatever we hit was definitely an animal. The entire group stared at him. Not a blue spot disguised as an animal. There was a chorus of groans and dammits.
And bad news.
Prodded Heavy, now wrapped in his large winter coat and gloves, as was the rest of the team. I don't think we can move. This train isn't as nice as commuter ones, and I think the animal's bones or antlers or whatever may have done some real damage. Without my tools or any schematics of the train's design, it's going to be too difficult to really fix the damage. There was silence then, as everyone mulled over what their friend said. Suddenly, Demo screamed, clutching his half-finished Scrumpy bottle to his chest.
Bloody hell. Wait 1 second. Yeah, it's this time, man. It's a goddamn sniper line. It's annoying. Bloody hell. This is gonna be... I can't get the voice out of... Sorry.
Trying to think back. Again, it's been a while.
They're going to tell you what's left of you in a soup can!
Thank.
I thought that helped you, but that's a demo, man. That didn't do shit. Here's
second.
how big my dick is. Here's me doing a demo man impression.
Okay, I guess not to, play my hand too
Bloody
much.
hell.
But
This is gonna be some Lord of the Fly shit, isn't it?
Everyone immediately turned to him to give him a raised eyebrow. The Scotsman sniffed.
Everyone was thinking it. I just said it.
I hardly doubt we will find any pigs here.
Remarked Spy dryly. He turned his attention to Engineer.
What are our options?
Before the Texan could give his input, Scout piped up.
We hop it. It probably ain't even that far from the base. We can make it.
No way.
Responded Sniper, pushing his aviators up his nose. The phrasing of that sounds funny.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just
Like,
trying to give himself a lobotomy.
He would be the guy who would shove a literal pair of glasses up his nostrils. Like, that's what Sniper does. I like the broken glass in my nostrils. It makes me feel alive. It was obvious he held no love for winter or cold front.
It's freezing out there. Best to buckle down here until Red sends help.
This brought on another ounce of silence, and Sniper frowned, thinking about what he just said.
On second thought, maybe we should huff it.
He mumbled, realizing it was very unlikely Red would care to retrieve them. It was probably cheaper to just hire new mercenaries. Okay. Questioned Pyro, watching his engineer unfurl the map he had taken from the front car. The hard hat seemed to trace the tracks in possible routes they could take. To be honest, we could make it there before dark. The hard part is really getting past the rest of this mountain, he responded, before looking at the watch under his glove. That gives us about 5 hours of daylight.
Then let's take a vote.
Called Soldier, chest puffed out.
All in favor of walking, raise your hand.
It was pretty obvious that if you didn't raise an arm, Soldier would raise it for you. So, it came to no surprise that the group of 9 followed the train tracks 20 minutes later, having raided the last cart for anything useful. Most of the boxes contained signs with red and cold front on them. No doubt brand new logos the rotting base was in need of. Luckily, there was one with new drapes, red and thick, which the mercs took no time folding and securing to their bodies with the packing ropes. Right before they left the train for good, Engineer ran to the front cart and retrieved the fire blanket stacked under the controls with a fire extinguisher for emergencies. Clipping it to his belt, the Texan joined his team out into the snow, following the train tracks that were becoming less and less visible as the snow fell.
This frickin' sucks.
No one bothered to respond to Scout's comment as they trekked down the mountain, too busy keeping out the cold. Soldier took the lead of Engineer, consulting the map once in a while, and yelling obscenities to keep the group's morale up. Pyro trailed next, a folded curtain tied to their back, with a downtrodden Sniper who kept one hand on the Girardi tied at his hip. Demo Man followed after them, similarly with one of the curtains tied around his back, and cradling his alcohol. He was extremely tempted to drink some, but, excuse me. He was extremely...
They have 2 options.
What?
Maybe if they ever get thirsty, if they ever wind up needing something to drink,
Oh, there
they
you go.
have 2 options.
Oh, God.
Well,
at least.
Demo was probably going to hog all the Scrappy, so they have 1 option.
I mean, they got snow. Oh, gosh. He was extremely tempted to drink some, but Medic had warned him it would be dangerous in such weather, and stayed at his side, first aid pack around his shoulders, and ready to slap the Scrumpy out of Demo's hand if necessary. Aw, he does care. Behind them was Heavy, carrying the last curtain and unbothered by the snow whipping into his face, with Scout following in his shadow. seeking protection from the onslaught of the weather. Spy trailed last, smoking, and if not for the snow sprinkling down, one could assume he was having a quaint walk. Pyro felt it first. A little too close to the edge, the ground beneath them started to seem to shake. Then, a sudden gust, and the snow picked up. Blinded, the mercenaries froze, hoping for the sudden escalation in the storm to stop. It didn't, and instead they heard a larger rumble. Pyro had only a second to grab onto Sniper's arm before the snow below them gave in, followed by a rush of snow from the mountain at their side. The mercenaries were knocked over and found themselves tumbling down the side of the mountain with a series of yells and screams, and in Scout's case, tears.
Oh, bitch.
Jeez, Tanner. By the time the small avalanche had ceased, the group found themselves farther down the mountain, now at the tree line.
Is everyone okay?
It was Medic who recovered first, and he glanced around for his teammates, one hand moving to adjust the cracked glasses on his nose. Heavy had grabbed him at the last second, providing some sort of cushion for his fall. The large Russian was less than a meter away, shoveling the snow off his body.
Oh, duh. It was small fall.
Medic didn't seem any less worried, eyes searching the massive snow for the others. Even if it wasn't as dangerous as could be, it was still a tumble, and in these conditions that could be dangerous. He heard mumbles next to him, and saw Demo's head pop out of the snow. He immediately threw heaps of snow off of him and started to search the ground with his gloved hands.
Miss Grumpy! Oh hell, I think I dropped it.
The Scottish man continued to search for his only solace, and Medic took that as a sign that he wasn't too badly hurt from the fall, if at all.
God!
Scout struggled to push the snow off, gasping for air.
I think I just pissed my pants.
He looks very near to crying, yet otherwise seemed unharmed. A few feet away, Sniper and Pyro helped each other out of the snow, having held on as they fell. Sniper wasn't sure if Pyro did it to protect him or if the gas mask wearer just freaked at the last moment. Regardless, they both seemed in good health and got to their feet. Even Sniper's Girardi had managed to survive the fall, still tied to his hip, without even a crack in the glass.
I do believe I am injured.
Spy casually scrubbed snow off himself, legs out in front of him.
My ankle.
At Medic's brief flash of fear as he made his way over, Spy shook his head.
It is only a sprain, I believe.
Before the doctor could verify, he heard Engineer call him. Okay, I already forgot the voice. Doc! Sully's bleeding. In the back of his head, Medic cursed Engineer for being so vague, and hurried over to the right, where Heavy was already at the American sides.
I'm fine, soldier.
A helmetless soldier bit up, trying to stand, even as Engineer kept his hands on his shoulders. Medic dropped to his knees, examining his red uniformed teammate. Aren't they all wearing red uniforms?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess... So, I mean, Medic's coat is mostly white, so I guess compared to the others, he's wearing less red.
Isn't his cross either red or blue, depending on which team he's representative of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Examining his red uniformed teammate, there seemed to be a gash in his side, torn through his coat, and blood was all over the snow at his side.
Keep off, Sally. I'm fine.
Snapped the soldier, hand idly moving to scratch at the wound, only staining his gray gloves with blood. Medic ignored him, hands moving to see how deep the wound was past the layers of clothing. He barely noticed Heavy consulting engineer with a map of the American pointing at various spots.
Jeez!
Scout came up behind Medic, watching as the doctor seriously examined the still bleeding wound.
Oh, jeez!
Scout wailed, grabbing the ears of his wool hat and pulling down as if it would calm his nerves.
Emma was right. This is some Lord of the Flies shit here.
Frogs.
Lord of the Frogs shit here. Sorry, yeah, I forgot Scout's a dumbass. I pronounced it correctly, and that was the problem.
Get a hold of yourself.
Sniper slapped Scout across the face. This seemed to sober the young man up, but he still looked like he was about to break down at any second.
Go scout ahead. Find some bloody shelter in this shithole.
Ordered the Australian. Scout, despite his wide eyes, nodded quickly and hurried off, much faster than anyone else on his team. Behind them, Pyro was trying to soothe Demo over the loss of his alcohol. But the Scottish man seemed to only want to lay face down in the snow and wail.
Come on, Doc. Stop being so serious.
Soldier's voice was softer than anyone had ever heard, and he now seemed to settle into the snow, eyes half-lidded.
I'm fine. I once put my guts back in and walked 20 miles. I swear it.
Medic didn't listen, eyes focused. He must have gotten clipped on the side of a rock. This was too much blood loss. It would need stitching, but as the snow pelted his back, Medic realized there was little surgery he could conduct in this weather. Regardless, giving up was not an option. They were out of respawn's range, and if Soldier died, he was gone for good. Doc! Engineer shook his shoulder. There's a range of hill. Holy crud. There's a range of hills less than a mile from here. We might be able to find some sort of overhang or shelter.
Oh! NG!
As if on cue, Scout tumbled through a line of conifers, breathing hard and red-faced.
I found a cave down there!
Scout pointed behind him.
It's real close!
That seemed to be all Medic needed. He shook off his scarf and, with Heavy's help, tied it around Soldier's... One moment, please. Tied it around Soldier's midsection to cover the wound and staunch the bleeding for a bit.
Herr Soldier!
Soldier just mumbled something about Nazi scum. Medic slapped him across the face, earning a grunt as the Patriot's eyes snapped open.
Stay awake. Keep pressure on the wound.
I'm fine, maggot.
Hissed out Soldier, but he did as he was told, allowing Heavy to pick him up in his arms.
My helmet!
The American feebly pointed to the dark hat covered partially in snow. An engineer went over to grab it before following Scout, who had rushed on ahead.
My, what a fun trip this is.
Spy drawled as Medic made his way over. He seemed unperturbed by his injury, and had managed to light a cigarette while he waited. The Frenchman allowed the German to put his arm over his shoulder and help him stand. Seeing Medic struggle as Spy's ankle proved to be weaker than thought, Pyro made a move to go help, but Sniper gave them a hand wave.
You're too short. No,
That's
that's Sniper's line.
You're too short. Get Demo up before he drowns us with his tears.
With that, the Aussie reached for Spy's other arm and helped hold him up. Pyro pulled the quiet, alcohol-less demo man off the ground, supporting him. The pair then followed after Spy, Sniper, and Medic, the wind picking up as the snow started to fall harder.
Alright, moving on to chapter 2 now. Just hold on, let me get some water.
I'm gonna need people to take over for me because it's 3 a.m. and I'm dying.
Wait, hold. Is the chapter already finished?
What's the problem?
Part 1.
Okay.
well,
How many parts are there?
It's a
3.
three-parter.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say like
Yeah, I
that when...
absolutely can't stick around for 3 parts.
Yeah, that's fine. I was surprised. I was gonna say I was surprised how quick that was.
I'm kind of glad how quick it was because it still took an hour.
Did it?
40 minutes.
I gotta say,
it took 30, a little over 30 minutes.
Took about 40 minutes.
this is something I want to comment on. It's I guess it's a little pedantic, but it's very noticeable all these chapters, especially this one, were written pre-Flanderization Soldier, because he's definitely still a little dumb, but he's nowhere near like I've done nothing but teleport bread for 3 days. Dumb. He's definitely like a bit more on the ball and focused. But I think this still does work for his character because it's like, yeah, no, he would be just batshit crazy enough to trudge through a snowstorm without help from anyone. I can totally see that. But he
I'll
is
be right back.
definitely noticeably smarter.
I do absolutely have to go though because it's 3 a.m. and I'm dying.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's fine.
So fight amongst yourselves, my roles. I'm sure you've already got it worked out from the other chapters I've not been here for.
What just happened? What makes me a good Pokemon? Why would I...
See, he says that, but I don't think we have.
And Scrappy's also muted, so I don't know what's going on.
Scrappy went somewhere.
Oh, okay, right.
I think he said he was going for a bit.
Oh, fun times.
Super fun.
Oh.
Are you just pausing the game while we're in an intermission?
No, I was just doing something.
Oh, okay.
So,
Come on, Harry, get back to playing the game. Oh, my whip cracks and
So how so how painful is the seeing
Should I
the
start?
V?
Should I go?
What?
I'll start pounding Jaeger bombs if you want me to get in character as demo.
Sure.
I am fully willing. I mean, you've seen I'm fully willing. Oh no, I don't want to beer brag, but I've gotten drunk on story time before.
Oh, I believe it.
Well, I did that for the My Little Pony anniversary episode.
Oh yeah. Was Radu here for that?
No, that was a
This-
fun thing, though.
Yeah, no, this is news to me.
Okay.
This is back when I was trying really hard to be the wacky alcoholic, and I decided I was the one who suggested the fic because I'm cringe and I like My Little Pony. I was diagnosed with autism at age 5. But I suggested that, but I also suggested I get drunk during it because I'm like, I better cope with the fact that I'm reading a My Little Pony fic.
Oh yeah, it
even
was
though-
like the Mary Sue thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which, looking back, I think... I don't know if I enjoy that fic as much as I want to, but that's just because I've become tired of meta things in general.
Oh, I can feel that.
The only... I can still do satirical works, or like satires or parodies of a specific genre. Like, I love Venture Brothers, and that's a parody of like old school adventure cartoons like Johnny Quest. It's a parody of superheroes. It's a parody of a lot of things. That is my that is a great thing I can promote to this chat. If anyone gets anything from this chat, it is watch Venture Brothers. It fucking slaps.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Hello. So what are we doing?
We're doing chapter 8.
I mean, yeah, I guess we can continue. We haven't even hit the hour mark.
But what are you gonna do? What's happening with Joey's roles? Like, who's taking what?
Oh
Hold
yeah,
on,
we
let me
have to
try
reassign those.
Let me try 2 things for you guys, and I'm gonna use... What makes me a good demo man?
If I were a bad demo man, I would be sitting here discussing it with you now, would I?
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Also,
that's good.
Snopping's a good job, mate. Challenging work, outdoors. I guarantee you won't go hungry, because at the end of the day, as long as there's 2 people left on the planet, someone is gonna want someone dead.
What are you doing at the end there?
I mean,
At the end, by the end of it, you didn't sound like Sniper.
no, okay.
Like,
So
you
maybe
kind of
I'll-
went British.
Oh, okay. Someone is gonna want someone dead, mate.
Excuse me. All right. If it's not too much strain on you, yeah, you
Ooh.
can. If it's not too much strain on you, then you, for love of English. If it's not too much strain on you, then yeah, feel free to take the rolls, Tanner.
I mean, I'll take. I don't know if Snopping's a good job, mate. I don't know if I can do Sniper. I can do Demo.
All right, then
Just
I'll,
filled with rage.
I mean, I'm no expert on accents, but I can.
Left of you in a soup can.
I'm no expert on accents, but I'll fill in for Sniper, I guess, unless Raiderman wants to voice him.
See, that's the tricky part about Joey's roles. I think Sniper, or I should say the roles in TF2 in general. I think Sniper is my weakest impression.
Mm.
All right.
Okay, I guess I'm Sniper then.
All right.
Discuss.
Everyone thinks I'm just a one-eyed bloody monster. And you gotta tell him. You gotta tell him.
So anyway, Chapter 8, Lord of the Frogs, Part 2. Sniper grimaced, helping Medic ease Spy down onto the rough ground once they reached a cave. His boots were soggy with snow and his legs were freezing. He hadn't dressed for a long stay in the mountains, just for a somewhat chilly train ride. Leaving the grumbling sharpshooter with Spy, Medic hurried over to where Heavy and Engineer had settled Soldier onto the fire blanket. Lifting the med kit off his shoulders, Medic kneeled next to Soldier, who was once again falling in and out of consciousness.
Get this scarf and his coat off, and keep him awake.
Medic ordered his 2 fellow mercenaries. Shrugging off his heavy trench coat Heavy trench coat and uniform, gloves. As Engineer and Heavy went about keeping the mumbling Patriot awake and undressing him, Medic opened up the first aid kit. Without his Medigun on the patient, he had to actually be somewhat careful. With a look of mild annoyance, Medic slipped on the sterile, latex-free gloves in the kit. Be careful, he huffed. Like he would ever miss those days of hygiene and safety standards.
I need light.
The former licensed physician said, picking up a probe and forceps. First, to see how bad the damage was. Wait, first of all, see, God, I don't know how to phrase this. First, to see how bad the damage was. Moments later, a small blue light focused on Soldier's wound, belonging to Engineer's keychain. On the other side of the cave, pacing with a look of pure fear, was Scout, hands nervously tugging at his hat again.
Oh man! What are we gonna do? What if we get attacked by bears? Or freeze, or starve, and then they eat each other? Oh god, the funny guy always goes first!
A rubber smack resonated. Okay, wait. I do not know how to parse their language. Yeah, F that. Pyro said, hands on hips as Scout rubbed the handprint on his cheek left by the shorter merc.
Funniest part about this fic to me is that Pyro probably has no... If you know anything about Pyro, you know he probably does not even feel that he's in any danger here. He probably has no idea what the fuck is happening.
That avalanche is probably like the equivalent of a water slide for Pyro.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm picturing... It's raining marshmallows right now for him. It's raining marshmallows and all the blood is hot chocolate.
And Girardi is just a flask of lemonade.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Meet the Team shorts?
I never had the time, but I know that one short Pyro spreading rainbows and happiness all over the map.
Yeah.
Good old Pyro Vision.
Yeah.
You believe in magic.
They originally, fun fact, this is me being, originally they were going to use Living in the Sunlight for that scene.
Oh gosh. Anyway, Pyro said, hands on hips as Scout rubbed the handprint on his cheek left by the shorter merc.
You don't know that! You
Sputtered out.
don't know that!
Sputtered out Scout twice. Despite still being on edge, the slap seems to have stopped his pacing and tugging.
Yes, we are all going to be okay. Except you. We are going to have to cannibalize you for the good of the group.
Spy monotoned from his seat against the cave wall, nonchalantly smoking. Pyro had placed their folded curtain under the Frenchman's ankle for some comfort. Yet whether or not it helped, Spy did not comment on. Yeah, their ship name, sorry. Okay, Sniper. Good grief. Oh, yeah, no, not even gonna bother with the accent, sorry, folks. I'd cannibalize all you wankers if I could get out of here, Sniper added, arms wrapped around himself as he leaned against the wall next to Spy. A few feet away, looking near teary-eyed and in a fetal position, Demo Man sniffed.
Miss Scrappy, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. I swear it. Including the loss of your eye?
Spy raised an eyebrow, removing his cigarette for a moment as he peered around Sniper's legs to glance at Scotsman.
It's the worst thing!
Demo Man pulled his beanie down over his eye after the outburst, perhaps hoping it was all a bad dream.
Oh god, he's right!
The demolition expert's exaggeration seemed to have thrown Scout into another fit, and he collapsed down next to his teammate.
I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die for real!
Scout pulled his hat over his own eyes and pulled himself into field position to mimic Demo Man. Sniper, Pyro, and Spy just stared.
Well then.
Spy commented dryly. Pyro went over to the two and awkwardly patted them on the back while mumbling kind words. Sniper just rolled his eyes, tugging his jacket closer. Bloody drama queens.
They do have somewhat of a point, though.
Spy remarked, as both men turned their attention to Medic, who was now prepping a needle and surgical thread as Engineer and Heavy tried to keep Soldier awake and talking.
We will probably be here until tomorrow. Traveling at night would be most troublesome.
Spy continued, before reaching into his black coat. He fumbled around his inside pockets before pulling out two items Sniper immediately recognized. You sneaky bastard. Had to bring your weapons, didn't ya? Sniper exclaimed, staring down at the revolver and butterfly knife his coworker had proffered.
And I am sure I will feel guilty about it when I am old and senile. Be useful and go get us food. I would do it myself, but as you can see, I am temporarily crippled.
Spy held out the weapons to Sniper, who just gave him a skeptical look. You do know I have no idea how to hunt in this bloody weather. I ain't about this holy hell. I ain't about this life, mate. The Bushman retorted, glancing away.
Yes, but you have the best aim, and I only have 6 bullets. Take Heavy. He will surely be useful out there. And the Virgin, he could carry firewood.
Spy stated, and Sniper realized the spook had a point. That's a...
Yeah, but yeah. I guess. Actually, I was gonna say, I guess in the 60s it meant something different, and then I was like, actually, wait, it's the 60s. It definitely meant that back then. And was probably...
What?
And was probably used far more than today, in that exact context.
And Sniper realized the Spy had a point. I actually do not know who's speaking here. I think, yes, Sniper. You have any other ideas? Sniper prodded, still very unsure of going out into the snow. Spy rolled his eyes.
If you insist, I believe it would be best for Engineer to plan our course ahead instead of holding Soldier's hand while he shits. I'm guessing Demo Man is a bit incapacitated due to the excess alcohol in his system and would be best at holding hand.
And Pyro? Spy just raised an eyebrow. Like, do you even have to ask? Do you have to even ask? Sniper stared back.
You're sure?
I think that's...
Yeah, no,
that's me.
Much more in Sniper's vocab.
You sure we can't just cannibalize the Virgin?
I'm absolutely certain 98% of his blood is toxic.
I mean, body, but I guess both work. Good point. Sniper sighed. Someone had to do something, and it had been a while since he'd hunted. It could be fun. It wasn't. Although Heavy stayed quiet, one hand holding tight to Spy's butterfly knife, beyond tiny in his large hand, Scout was a whole other story. He had resisted to going out, complaining that Pyro could tend to a fire just fine with the magazine Sniper swapped. What the frick, man? Swiped. It should be swiped. That's swapped.
Swap or no swiping.
I was about to say it. Gosh darn it, I was about to say it. Just fine with the magazine Sniper swiped from the train, but relented after a few sugary, manipulative words from Spy.
You are much more capable than we give you credit for. Invaluable to the team. You will carry us.
Carrying the team.
Scout mused, arms full of a few damp twigs.
How do you even carry it? On your in your arms? On your back?
Well, actually, I think that's
That is
Sniper.
not-
Break your. Oh gosh, you got. Riders, I would politely ask you to generally break your. If
No, I think
there's
this is
a break
scout.
your-
I think this is a scout line. Because I'm pretty sure Sniper would know what carrying the team meant, and he wouldn't be questioning it.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that is true. Scout is like significantly like IQ of a burnt vape cartridge.
Yeah, okay, I think it's scout, so I recant my earlier statement.
How do you carry it? In your arms? On your back?
Sniper grumbled under his breath as Scout went on to gloat about his physical prowess and extremely large muscles. The trio had yet to see any game under the white flurry, not even a bird.
Quiet.
Heavy interrupted, cutting off Scout mid-rant. The Russian crouched down to examine something in the snow, leaving Scout with a pout.
Come on, fatty. You don't need the silence. You don't need silence to stare at a bunch of snow.
Scout complained, bringing the sticks closer to his chest.
You not want to eat tonight?
Heavy threatened, giving the American a glare, still crouched. Yeah, just keep your trap shut, would ya? Sniper couldn't resist adding, glancing around with Spy's revolver aimed up into the snow.
This way.
Heavy stated, abruptly standing and heading northeast. Sniper followed with no other word, leaving Scout lagging behind.
You better not get us lost.
The Bostonian snorted to himself. Alright, this is Demo and Soldier mostly talking.
You're doing great, lad. Just keep on breathing.
I don't think I'm gonna make it, soldier.
Quit talking like that, you fool. You're gonna be just fine.
I see a lot. Whoa, I went southern there. Whoa. I see a light. What happened to my voice? Ugh. I see a light, Demo. I think I need to go to it.
Don't go into the light, lad.
I just want you to know. You're my best friend, maggot.
Medic tried not to roll his eyes as he concentrated on stitching up Soldier's wound, while Demo Man let out a convoluted wail of snot and tears. He had spent the last 2 hours cleaning and suturing. I don't know that word.
Oh, suturing, I think.
Suture.
Alright then, today I learned. Cleaning and suturing torn arteries. It could really do without the current soap opera occurring in his presence.
You are done, don't cough.
Medic finished, covering the neat stitching with sterile bandages.
You neither died nor gave birth.
I had to like hold back my smile a little bit on that line. I had to hold back my laugh.
Soldier looked away from the dramatic moment he was sharing with his Scottish. Wait. Soldier looked away from the English. Soldier looked away from the dramatic moment sharing with his Scottish teammate to shoot Medic. That's it. He shot Medic. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Where'd he get the gun?
You German bastard.
Yeah, goddamn Nazi!
He was sharing with his Scottish teammate to shoot Medic a surprised look.
I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live!
Soldier immediately jumped up, as did Demo, and the two hugged, letting out manly tears. Wiping down his instruments with alcohol pads, Medic tried his best to ignore the two mercenaries. Too bad the local anesthetic did not fully knock the patient out. Pyro ran over and joined in the group hug. An engineer grinned up from the map he was examining. Good to have you back, partner. the Southerner commented, going over to pat his fellow American on the shoulder. Even a soldier was starting to wobble on his feet. Seeing this, Medic stood up. Medic stood up. I'm not sure, the commas are throwing me off. Medic stood up, ready to threaten that if soldier ripped his stitches, the German doctor was in no way to fix it up.
Hey, soldier, you need to act.
Pyro and Demo yanked Medic into the hug, and the German found himself being jostled and sprayed with tears as his teammates celebrated the successful back alley surgery.
You're a miracle worker, Doc.
Soldier slurred, now putting his weight on Engineer and Demo as his blood pressure drop started to catch up to him.
Well, you really are, lad. Could fix anything, I bet. Oh, I'm not sure.
With Pyro's proclamation, Medic couldn't help but smile, giving in to the mirth.
Well, I don't like to brag, but you're right.
Come on, Doc, don't be modest. Engineer complimented, shooting Medic a grateful smile.
Think loud and proud!
Demo cheered, followed by Pyro pulling the group and now unconscious soldier in a sway.
I make permanent positive!
Medic shouted.
I work miracles! My hands are lethal and miraculous! You should register them!
Demo whooped as Pyro cheered, earning a laugh from Engineer and a usually stoic doctor. The three continued to sway and yell out compliments, unaware that Soldier's feet were literally dragging now that he could no longer support himself. Across from them, Spy sat, a deadpan expression and recently lit cigarette between his lips.
I'm still here, you know.
Yeah, it'd be something they wound up causing an avalanche just by.
Yeah, exactly.
So much.
What?
And Harry, I think you got a bot. You may have a bot in your Twitch chat, or someone's posting a spam message.
Oh no, that's definitely a a bot of some kind.
If this were a more typical TF2 story, I feel like that would be the punchline, is them all celebrating and then getting mounted in snow, and then that bam, 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 bam.
Jeez. Before we continue, I guess I'll say, yeah, nice chapter. It's, I guess, between these characters in general and specifically within the context of this story, it's, I guess, nice to see them actually do show some care towards one another.
Yeah, I do think. How much of that is Medic needing care, and how much of that is Medic caring for them, and how much of that is just him, like... Well, at that point, that's just like, he broke his printer and can't get it repaired if he gets all these guys killed. He experiments on them. That's like his little model car. That's like his little Pinewood Derby car that he likes to give paint jobs and shit. But also there is... Oh, water went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, okay.
I hate when that happens.
That would be so dope. Oh god, that's not what I want. I would never want my final moments in life to be recording story time with Scrappy. I'm not sure if I'd want that ever.
Okay, I think I cut out what happened.
My water went down the wrong pipe, and I was like, I do not want my final moments to be reading Team Fortress 2 fanfiction. Not sure. That is not how I want to go out. I haven't gotten enough pussy yet. That if I went, I'm trying to think of like how I would want to die. The worst thing to do would be to die of like getting water down the wrong pipe. I think that would be the most embarrassing ass way to die, because then you got to go to heaven and you got to confess to God that that's how you died, and he can't even, and he's gonna laugh at you. I
Excuse me.
feel like, I'm trying to think. Best way to die and worst way to die.
Anyway, chapter 9.
No, I'm gonna be fixating on this.
This is
I feel
Lord
like
of the Frogs
Spider
Part
Bite.
3. One was the
Spider Bite's gotta be
really
the.
kind of...
I feel like Spider Bite's gotta be in the top 10 worst ways to die. Because you died to a little bugaboo? Oh, did you die from getting a little itchies? Dying while sleeping would go so fucking hard. Dying in your sleep would go so fucking hard. Because at that point, you're dying in complete comfort. You're dying in, like, you're dying while you've got an episode of American Dad playing and you're passed out. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyway, chapter 9, Lord of the Frogs Part 3. Pyro was happy, stomach full, sitting in front of a fire, friends on both sides. Pyro felt that they could stay in this moment forever.
That's engineer, I think.
I think it's either...
Yeah, I
Engineer.
think it's
I think it's-
engineer.
I actually think it's
Or
Scout.
who is that?
Okay, yeah, I guess it's engineer's far too humble to. Alright. You can't be blaming me for this!
Pyro snuggled deeper into the curtain blanket engineer had draped over both of their shoulders. Pyro was tempted to lay their head against the older man's shoulder, but resisted, very aware of how uncomfortable it made the Texan. Instead, the mumbling mercenaries settled for pulling their knees to their chest, inching a bit closer to the firewood. And I think this is heavy.
Is this the in exchange at the beginning that you were? Is this the?
No, not the different one. But I think this is heavy speaking now.
Hold on. I have to become big. I have to broaden my shoulders a bit. I always broaden my shoulders when I voice heavy. And tighten my neck. It is very hard not to.
With a gloved hand, Pyro searched for their lighter, safely tucked into their coat pocket. Pyro plucked up their finished rib bone from the ground and lit it up before tossing it into the fire. And this is Sniper, I think. If someone hadn't spooked the herd, we wouldn't all be having child portions. Pyro licked their lips under their mask, tasting the excess reindeer flesh. Unlike the rest of their friends, they felt the 2 reindeer meal was more than enough, even though they did not have extra for tomorrow.
It ain't my fault you can't aim under pressure. Should have given me the gun.
A set of cracked bones were thrown into the fire, courtesy of a complaining Scout. His co-workers around him shot one another raised eyebrows. Finally, recovering the ridiculous that was Scout. Recovering from the ridiculousness that was Scout, Heavy shook his head.
Yeah, we would starve tonight.
This earned some snickering from around the group, and Scout just frowned, pulling his knees closer to his chest. After 2 hours of searching, he, Sniper, and Heavy had returned with 2 small reindeer, looking disgruntled and covered in snow. Due to Scout being Scout, somehow they had lost a herd of reindeer who had scattered at the first sound, and Sniper barely managed to kill 2 of the slower, less agile animals. Unfortunately, that cost all but one of the bullets in Spy's revolver. Although Heavy seemed ready to knife anything if necessary, none of the trio wanted to trudge further into the forest with snow pelting down harder as the sky grew dark. Can I just say
Come
that I
on,
very much
man.
wish... Sorry,
No.
I cut you off. Can I just say, though, that I very much wish I could highlight text on FN.
Dude, yeah, no, that's the one thing that makes me prefer AO3. Highlighting text is just so, it's just annoying to do on FFN. Like, can you even do it?
Not unless you not unless it's like your own story and you like go into like I guess preview mode or something.
Yeah, no, it's like,
That's a bitch.
yeah, that's annoying.
Just learn the HTML method and put into the console.
Yeah,
You may as well be speaking witch to me right now, Raider, and you think I know how to trick out my even
No,
minor
I
wings?
kind of know what he's talking about, but like the problem is just like you really shouldn't have to do that.
Like, I didn't even know what the Control F function
Yeah,
did on my computer until I
for
was in
starters,
college.
you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, the snow pelting down harder as the sky grew dark.
Come on, man.
Drawled out soldier from next to Pyro, half leaning on Demo with reindeer fat around his mouth. Mmm, yummy.
Let's not fight.
The American had been prompting peace and throwing out encouragement ever since Medic non-consensually fed him pain pills. Needless to say, it was completely unsoldier-like and entirely disconcerting.
Hey, lads! Sure, it wasn't no giant meal, but at least we're all alive.
Added in Demo Man, sharing a grin with Soldier. The two were draped with the fire blanket, and the Scotsman excitedly threw his leftover bones into the fire.
How about we play a game or sing?
Demo, are you sure you lost your alcohol? Engineer tried, glancing over at the Scotsman who was humming to himself.
I'm about as sober as any of you lads on a normal day.
The demolitions expert then burst out laughing, as if he shared a joke. Then, Demo's face turned deathly serious, and he gave everyone in the group a look.
We're going to need a sacrifice for the beast. You all know, right?
There was silence for a moment, and Spy slowly removed the cigarette from his mouth.
I believe our Scottish teammate is far too sober to make sense anymore. Even I had trouble placing the reference, and I read the book.
Scout squinted, scrunching up his nose.
Book? What book?
Lord of the Frogs, grumbled out Sniper, stuck between a Frenchman and the Bostonian, largest drape over their shoulders.
Lies!
Corrected Medic, starting to stand up.
Let's form some order to sleep in. I don't want any of you doomtops to die of hypothermia. Did you hear my what?
I did not.
What?
No, dead silence.
There we go, I heard it the second time. Right Scout, glancing around as his teammates started to stand up around him. Boy, this ain't no camping trip. Let me try that again. Boy, this ain't no camping trip. We all need to share body heat. Engineer explained, kicking up dust to subdue the fire. Scout's eyes widened, and he stood up, finger pointing at the other men in his group.
No way! I am not sharing a blanket with any of you creeps.
He announced, earning an eye roll from most of his team.
That's fine.
Medic commented nonchalantly,
You
rolling
can
his scarf
sleep.
into a pillow.
You can sleep alone in that corner over there and freeze.
I know I can gander what Scout's, I guess, motives are, but I don't blame his paranoia in this case. Like, these guys would probably knife him on a.
Yeah, no.
I would not share a blanket with Spy under any circumstance.
At least at the very, I wouldn't share a blanket with Soldier because I feel like he snaps people's necks in his sleep. Like that's his version of sleepwalking.
That sounds about right.
It's his night terrors.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the part. This is like the exchange where it's kind of left ambiguous, and I think I guess, key I left everyone else is mostly accurate, so follow that.
All right.
Sí, puedos.
Said Demo.
Yes, my racially diverse comrade.
Asked Soldier.
I just want to say, I love all you.
Me too, soldier. Me too.
For Pete's sake! Exploded Sniper, sitting up from his spot between Demo Man and Engineer, sending a glare to the Scotsman and Soldier in the dark. Would you two just stop? Some of us are trying to sleep.
I agree with the repulsive Bushman.
Spy rolled from the end of the mercenary cuddle. Mercenary cuddle. Back against a drugged soldier who had no idea how to respect personal space. Screw you, ski mask.
Fuck all y'all.
Scout, shut up, said Engineer. There was a loud grunt from Heavy, then a half-snoring sound as the large mercenary continued to sleep through his teammates yelling. The Russian was on the other end of those sleeping arrangements, his back to the cave entrance to block out the cold. Medic was next to him, similarly fast asleep.
Hey, Ferris, get back there.
Jeez.
He's
Medic was
probably the most equipped to block the cold, being not just big, but Russian, too.
That's true. That's true.
Medic was next to him, similarly fast asleep, despite Scout's jostling from next to him.
Fight me, hot at. Pyro, move your fat ass over.
Oh. Goodness, shut up. I think this is Engineer. I can see.
No, I
that
think
it's
that's Sniper.
Engineer's too calm for that. Gosh, shut up. Just freaking shut up.
Aw, come on, buddy. Stop being so grouchy.
Soldier, I swear on my life, if you don't shut the hell up, I will Girardi you.
Well then, I'd say that escalated quickly.
Spy observed. There was a lot more jostling, cursing, and the sound of blanket. There was more jostling, cursing, and the sound of blankets being pulled. Engineer sighed. The map tightened his gloved hands, trying to ignore the snow pelting right into his goggles. They had left the cave early in the morning, intent on getting to Cold Front before the event. The shortest mercenary led the group, medic at their side to help make sure they were on track. Behind the two, Pyro and Sniper trudged, curtains secured to their backs, the former near skipping and the latter looking about ready to fall over. Demo Man and Soldier followed along, the non-inebriated alcoholic with the American's arm over the port. Ever since coming off the pain meds in the morning, Soldier went back to his normal rage-fueled, ass-kicking, no help needing patriot. Only to find that the loss of blood and pain meant he wasn't exactly too fit to carry his own weight. Begrudgingly, he accepted his best friend's shoulder, and Demo reveled in the fact that he had a victim to listen to him talk while he endured being sober. Jeez. Heavy brought up the rear, carrying Spy in his arms. Neither of the two grown men looked happy with the arrangement, but Spy was rather light. Enough so that Heavy had no problem carrying him the rest of the way due to his injured ankle. And, as expected, Scout used Heavy's massive body as a shield against the snow, arms wrapped around himself and desperately wishing his Ma or Miss Pauling would come save him.
Are we there yet?
Called out the Bostonian, glancing around Heavy to see to the front of the traveling line. No one responded, and the runner frowned before hurrying past the Russian and reaching Sniper and Pyro. Seeing the little schmuck, Sniper grunted and pretended he had his kukri, because bleeding out seemed much more preferable than enduring another minute of this gosh damn American weather.
Are we there yet?
I'm sorry, it's just so annoying. I love it.
Oh no. Thank you.
Scout repeated, nudging Pyro into the side. The red-suited mercenaries shook their head, gesturing farther ahead, past the forest the group found themselves in. They mumbled, more than usual, glancing over at Sniper for confirmation. The Australian glared into the snow, hand stuffed into his coat, shoulders stiff. Hell if I know. All these bloody trees look the same to me.
Are you supposed to be an expert tracker or some shit? Aren't you supposed to be an expert tracker or some shit?
Scout grinned. Sniper shot him.
And that's the end of Scout.
And then Sniper shot him a middle finger.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas. Yep, botched that. Hey, fellas. Called Engineer from the front of the line, causing the traveling band to pause. Looks like we only have 2 miles left in. The hard hat paused, finger tracing to the left. That direction.
Are we in the response range?
Spy asked, arms crossed stiffly across his chest, lit cigarette between his lips, and trying to maintain some dignity as Heavy held him like a new bride. Engineer shook his head. Afraid not. All base systems, including respawn, are turned off when we move location. I turn everything on when we get back to the base.
Hello?
It cut out.
Oh Lord, I'm sorry. Oh Lord. Like a sassy black AT&T receptionist. I love that.
Started Scout,
Oh,
hands moving to his
Lord.
hat's ear flap. Hands moving to his hat's ear flaps.
Don't you dare start.
Interrupted Medic, shooting the younger man.
None of you are going to die.
Listen to the crowd, men.
Piped up soldier. I keep calling him soldier. Piped up soldier, raising his free arm as far as it would go, with a slight wince.
None of you maggots will die on my watch.
Says the man who nearly died from a small avalanche.
Grumbled Spy under his breath, somehow managing to hold a cigarette in the corner of his mouth. Spy's snark, as usual, seemed to incite the group, and insults started to fly, along with complaints, sober tales, and Scout's high-pitched whining. Engineer nearly face-palmed. I like how they spell it with an apostrophe.
Uh-huh.
Engineer nearly face-palmed, watching his teammates easily turn on one another in the dangerous weather. Even Medic had been pulled into the outcries, looking like he was giving Spy a stern talking to, as the Frenchman waved his hands flippantly at an irate soldier casually held back by a still sober demo man, who was actually telling a very hilarious story that everyone would regret not paying not paying attention to 4 days later.
Wow.
While Heavy seemed to be making an effort to calm down the three. Fellas, started Engineer, map in one hand, the other palm opposite, approached an arguing sniper and scout. We don't have time for this. Base is only 2 miles away, and Engineer paused, blinking behind his snow-rimmed goggles. He thought he heard something. Something like growling, unlike the roar of the snowstorm, which had lightened little since the group set out at dawn. He was about to pass it off as his imagination and hunger, when suddenly, a hard force knocked him off balance and into the snow. There was a howl, and the Texan heard his coat tear and felt hot spit in his face before the weight left his side. Scout's cry was more than enough confirmation for Engineer. Getting to his feet as quick as he could, the hard hat saw his team had maneuvered to a circle around him, facing out to the surrounding pack of white wolves that had descended from the mountain.
I've always noticed that there's no narrative in which characters get stranded in the snow where they don't have to fight off wolves at some point.
I remember that one episode of Pokemon where Ash got stuck in a cave.
Well, do wolves even exist in the Pokemon universe? Do we know?
I mean, there's wolf Pokemon, or wolf-adjacent ones like Arcanine.
Alright, fair enough.
I'll put a pin in that, but...
No.
Mightyena.
No, because now I'm thinking of The Grey starring Liam Neeson, which is a solid movie.
Or I guess Mightyena and Poochiena are more hyenas,
Oh,
given
yeah.
the name.
I'll get back to that.
Scrappy, those are technically hyenas. You don't know Pokemon, and you don't know basic wildlife.
Oh no.
Facing out to the surrounding pack of white wolves that had descended from the mountain. And I think this is actually Spy talking, just being a smartass.
Where was it?
Had descended from the mountain.
Wolves had to send from. Oh, damn! I really wish you could highlight.
Tanner, are you on your phone or on a computer?
On my computer.
Control F.
What was it again?
The surrounding pack of white wolves that had descended from the mountain.
Okay, here we are. Are you still alive, partner?
You ski mask wearing piece of. I mean, oddly enough, Spy's mocking and snark was often reassuring. After all, if the Frenchman had time to annoy you, surely the situation wasn't too dangerous. Engineer nodded to the slumped-over man next to him, the only other mercenary not standing outside of the circle. I don't understand. Are they really planning to attack us? The Southerner questioned, glancing around to take a head count. The pack was made of 11 wolves, all stark white and blending into the snow, all very much as tall as Engineer's elbow, and all growling with barely contained hunger.
Use some diversity. Why are they all white?
Not used to humans. Have no fear.
Heavy supplied, glancing over his shoulder at the Texan.
We can take them.
Added Soldier, fists clenched, and leaning over, most likely in concealed pain.
Fine. You stay with Spy. You don't want to tear your stitching.
Medic ordered, slipping out a scalpel from his medkit.
Don't tell me what to do, Sally.
As soon as the insult left Soldier's mouth, two of the closest wolves jumped at Heavy. True to his word, Soldier looked ready to leap into the fray, only to be forced back into engineer by medic. Soldiers struggled against the Texans' hold, watching as one of the wolves reared its head at medic before being tackled into the snow by Sniper.
Let me go!
Snapped Soldier, pulling against Engineer as he watched the wolves start to attack. To his left, he saw Pyro pulling at a wolf's tail that was just about to take a bite out of Scout's neck. Calm down, Sully. This is for your own good, Engineer retorted, wishing the other American was settled down so he could help out his teammates. Heavy seemed to be doing fine with two of the wolves. Well-aimed punches deterring them from laying any fatal attacks. Devilman was in a wrestle with another, and actually laughing, as if he weren't in a life-or-death situation. Two wolves had dawned on Scout and Pyro, and although the animals were circling now, it was only a matter of time before they took action. Likewise, three wolves were surrounding Sniper and Medic, the latter armed with a scalpel, the former with his bare hands and a jar of piss. Engineer frowned. He counted 8. Where were the others? As if on cue, a shot rang out. Engineer snapped around to see a wolf go down from Spy's revolver, and the other two jump on him in vengeance. Soldier shoved Engineer in the abdomen, releasing the Texan's hold, and tackled one of the wolves off the Frenchman.
Come here, Cupcake.
The American taunted, holding back the snapping animal, wincing as his stitches tore. Engineer ran to Spy, who had managed to kill the other wolf, his butterfly knife up to the hilt in blood. The two mercenaries pushed the wolf's bulk off, and the shorter of the two hurried over to help. The Texan hovered as Soldier rolled around to snuff the growling animal, saliva all over his face. Sully, let him go! The Patriot let out a grunt, socking the persistent wolf across the eye, earning a yelp. He laughed then, his other hand squeezing the fur of the wolf where he held tight, even as the animal started to pull away. Sully!
Allow me.
A knife rammed into the wolf's spine, a perfect backstab. Soldier gaped. Should be gaped or gasped. I guess either works.
Off his pants.
Oh, gosh.
Immediately started showing his gaping
God,
prostate.
no!
Asshole.
Damn you, Tanner.
Scared off all the wolves.
Soldier gasped, watching in horror as the wolf slumped over, dead now.
What the hell? Why'd you have to go and do that, crouton?
That is
it's
that offends me.
It's something.
No, it's pretty mild compared to some of the shit he says in game.
I know, but also just jeez, this guy.
Your white flag does not stop American bullets.
Oy. What are you going to do that, so-and-so? He barked, struggling with the weight of the wolf. Engineer let out a huff, rolling the massive muscle and fur off as Spy casually retrieved his knife, favoring one leg.
I would make some witty battle commentary, but...
Spy! Your knife, called Sniper. The trio turned to see the Australian currently holding a stick up as a makeshift weapon, back to back with Medic. The latter held the bloody scalpel tight in his gloved hand. The wolf across from the doctor was howling. Whether in pain or anger from the wound on its shoulder, they weren't whether in pain or anger from the wound on its shoulder, they weren't sure. Goodness gracious.
Hello, hello?
Scout was clinging onto one of the wolves, fingers digging into white fur as he rode along its back. Pyro similarly held onto the other, and the two white wolves bucked and howled. It's a third of their kind biting at the cargo's legs. Just before Engineer could run over to assist, there was a roar from Heavy, and everyone turned to see the usually docile Russian slam a wolf's head into a tree. Jeez. Breaking its skull for an instant kill.
Characterization, though, and like, I've always said it, it's almost as if he's like this very quiet, like fighting and combat are like an autistic hyperfixation for him, and that's where they get like, you get like the most visceral joy and passion out of him. Otherwise, he's just completely introverted.
Breaking it like, sorry, I'm fixated on the passage. Like that is a Hunger Games style kill right there.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Like thrashing that one tribute from, I can't remember which district, but female tribute from a district that I think was gloating about killing one of Katniss's friends.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff sticks with you. Slam a wolf's head into a tree, breaking its skull for an instant kill. Damn. His coat was nearly torn off, and there was a scratch along his face. Seemingly realizing its outnumbered status, the wolf snarling at Heavy healed back, just as the ones by Medic and Sniper stopped circling. Pyro and Scout were tackled off their respective wolves by the third male, only to watch the trio of animals start to retreat.
Hell yeah!
Called Soldier, pumping a fist in the air, even as blood started to drip from under his jacket.
You maggots better run!
Where you go, Heavy?
Cheered Scout, grinning as he watched the wolves congregate further away, yet still circling the group.
Get them chumps real good!
The remaining wolves continued to growl, spit dripping into the snow, and seemed reluctant to fully back down. Previously white fur now stood stark red against the snow, blood staining the animals.
Lads!
Everyone turned to see Demo Man sitting in the snow, holding one of the wolves in what looked like a hug. Instead of addressing the oddity of the Scotsman holding a very dead wolf close, as if simply playing in the snow, the Demo Man pointed to the overhang near the side of the mountain. There, on the ledge, stood what the group guessed to be the alpha male. Large, with a sprinkle of brown fur along his brow, this wolf stood nearly up to Engineer's shoulder, dwarfing the rest of his pack. Behind him converged white wolves, teeth bared, legs bent and ready to attack in an instant.
Well,
Mumbled Spy, staring blankly at the new arrivals, drawn to the fight by the lone gunshot and cacophony of howl.
it appears we are fucked. Run!
Medic blurted out, barreling into Soldier, who was now clutching his abdomen, pretending it didn't hurt like that one time in Germany. The group rushed through an opening in the trees. Heavy hefting up Spy in his arms and Pyro helping Medic drag the now bleeding.
Oh, Christ!
Scout wailed, hurrying past his fellow mercs to take the lead. He glanced back over his shoulder, seeing Demo laughing as he ran, still holding one of the wolves in his arms.
Demo, what the hell? I made a new friend, lad! Right cute, ain't he?
Scout nearly felt tears. Seems like sobriety had finally caused Demo to go crazy.
We're dead. We are so dead!
Cried the Bostonian, earning a thwack with the map from Engineer who ran alongside him.
Gotten slapped like 5 times now.
He is the Rigby of this cast.
Yeah.
Just pipe down and run. I have like no emotions when I voice Engineer. Pulling up the end of the group, Sniper started to slow down. Turning to face the incoming mass of wolves looking for revenge. He snarled, hand moving to the jar at his hip. Bloody wolves. Medic and Pyro turned.
Pussy! Pussy, say it! Come on!
Medic and Pyro turned, hearing the sharpshooter and seeing how far behind. Pyro called, clutching Soldier's arm.
Don't try to be a hero, Dummkopf!
Sniper ignored the two, eyes narrowed, lips down in a scowl. He unclipped the jar from his belt, swung back his arm, and... Oh, God. Girardi! A jar of liquid, bright yellow... A jar of liquid, bright yellow from not enough water and perhaps a serious kidney problem. Sailed through the sky. With a crack, the jar exploded upon hitting the ground near the mass of wolves, spreading Granny's peach tea on the surrounding animals and snow. The alpha male immediately stopped before letting out what sounded like a wail. He started to shake his head, as if trying to get something off his face. The other wolves followed suit, bucking and circling as well, as if stuck in the piss snow.
I knew
Snipers.
Chekhov piss would come in at some point.
Always does. Sniper stared. Holy, that's a new one. Holy dooly, it worked. The Australian pumped a fist into the air. How do you like that piss smell, mates? Huh? Bothering your nose? And everyone complains about the piss. But look at that. I'm a proper hero now. Enjoy that, you mangy, piss-covered sorry excuses for... Sniper yelped as Medic grabbed the back of his coat and started tugging him along through the snow. This didn't seem to stop the sharpshooters gloating. Yeah, I showed those bastards. Thought they could mess with me. I'm from Australia, mates, even though I don't have the accents. Don't have the accent. I've hunted rabbits bigger than you lot. In fact, I've made them into slippers. That's right. Bloody slippers bigger than you lot. And that's the end of the chapter.
That was.
Oh.
It's a very Jurassic Park ending where you don't really see them make it back home, but we can just assume they do because
Yeah.
proverbial helicopter in this case.
Yeah, back to base. I like to imagine that after this ended, the blue team had already captured all the control points and won the game.
Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a interesting change of pace for the story. I'm not sure if this is like indicative of how the rest of the story like plays, but definitely a change of pace from like the prior chapters. It's certainly interesting. What?
I definitely think sometimes I get annoyed. I don't know how I feel about the whole demo going crazy when he's sober thing. I feel like that might be a bit of flanderization because him drinking is not his only personality trait. Like, he's an alcohol because he is a disabled black man in the 1950s and he's filled with rage.
I mean, I'd be if I had to be if I,
1960.
There's clearly some like character details I need to like read up on myself so I can better voice the characters. Let me I guess preemptively cover my ass. Hi folks, it's been several months since I actually narrated a story on Storytime, and I'm coming off of a job where I have to talk all day. So if I sounded stuttery, then yeah, I have an excuse for once.
Yeah. No, I feel like I was half forming sentences without even finishing them. You're good, man.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed just bouncing off everyone for this because just having these
yeah.
Your connection's like freaking out.
Scrappy. Yeah, what the fuck did you just say? You were cutting out bad.
I said it's story. I said story time is over, and
Oh
it's time
damn.
to let go, people.
All right.
Oh my god, we're free.
Damn, dude.
What I
guess
said was that I enjoyed bouncing off of everyone because the idea of like these 9 disparate personalities bouncing off each other in the wilderness is an inherently funny scenario.
yeah. Even though this fic was not particularly funny, though there was humor, mostly from Scout, just kind of being a bitch throughout.
I mean, a little just an argument they had while trying to sleep.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Um, it is interesting for writing a more dramatic fic, but still having everyone be being relatively close to how they should be. I did think everyone maintained their characters pretty well.
They had a pardon me. They found yeah, I'd say so based off of what little I know of Team Fortress 2, but they found a decent enough workaround to make Soldier nice temporarily, so that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I do have to say though, that was the part that got me, is that I feel like Soldier, if we were talking about like this seems to be written after expiration date, the expiration date short, but Soldier still feels like his pre-Flanderization self here. He's definitely, I wouldn't call him intelligent, but he's definitely not like, I feel like the Soldier I feel like Soldier from the recent comics would have drank would have like tried to drink the Girardi out of desperation. I feel like they definitely play up his craziness and stupidity in later supplementary material.
Yeah, can we I wrap up like
Yeah.
now because I'm dying right now.
So
Yeah, I just
I
noticed you
enjoyed
were on the home screen.
the chapters. Some dated moments aside, and there's definitely some grammatical hiccups, grammatical errors that kind of threw me off while reading.
I also have to say it's nice to see a fanfic that was written by someone who's actually like clearly maybe not the most adept at spelling, but is clearly literate enough to like base an entire fic off of Lord of the Flies.
I I just enjoyed how much mileage you guys were getting out of the voices. That was fun.
Oh yeah, it's Heavy is the hardest fucking voice for me to do because you have to feel big.
Mm.
And also it's hard keeping the accent with the amount of gravel in his voice. He is the most difficult voice for me to do. I feel like my spy was a bit weak at first, but I kind of got into a bit of a more of a rhythm spy as it went along. I see the briefcase is safe. Scrappy, you there? You there, mate?
Uh,
Jobs with them.
Uh-oh.
Scrappy, Jesus Christ.
I just heard jobs, and I'm like, oh.
I heard jobs and a sound effect.
Hey, Scrappy, who's your favorite Apple CEO?
Bill Gates.
What's your favorite thing? Scrappy, what's your favorite thing to do with your hand?
What?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I like to write fan fiction with my hand.
Just one? What are you doing with the other, my boy?
Drinking water because I can barely talk some days.
That's fair.
Multitasking.
Okay, so I clearly cut out. What was I saying? I was making some comment about how late it was in my times, but I think that's about it. Yeah, I enjoyed this for the most part, and yeah, I'm curious to see where the story goes from here on out. That's about all I have to say for the time being.
I would love. The problem is you guys have no lore context, but I would love to get you guys, even only because sometimes reading comics with other people gets me an excuse to read. Gives me an excuse to read comics. I would love to read the seventh comic with no story context.
Mm. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say.
I do love the incorporation of, even if it is a small reference, I do love the incorporation of figuring out like the logistics of. I do find like taking gameplay and like incorporating like, oh, logistically how would they get to this map in the game? Or like
Yeah.
figuring out what they do at the various maps. They seem to be written as if they live together, even though it's never shown that they live together. In the comics, they all have their own places. Soldier lives in a castle with Marasmus, his wizard roommate. Um, Demo lives in a mansion because he works 5 other jobs to provide for his blind mother. That is the other thing. That is the other thing. Everyone in Demo's family is blind. They all He comes from a long line of bombers that all lost their eyes due to various circumstances.
Well, today I learned. So, yeah, I'll try to catch up on the lore in my time. I guess I have a bit more free time now. So, there's that. In the
I
meantime,
recommend watching the
what?
shorts and then watching the Meet the Team shorts, because I think you'll see how well they captured their personalities from those shorts, and you'll really. You mentioned you wanted to see more of Scout and Spy having a dynamic. You'd love the expiration date short, that
I'll try.
failed Adult Swim pilot they made.
I'll try to give it a watch. Give them a watch and the comics they read. What was I saying? As for plans for next episode, fair chance it'll just be this again. If Tanner's not available and I have other personnel ready, then we'll probably just read the miraculous story. And yeah, that's it for now. Well, we're just trying to get other things off the ground at the moment. We will probably do a general 2025 Storytime Direct just to explain plans for this year. Maybe next episode, who knows?
Yeah. Definitely not gonna be now because it's ridiculously late.
Nah, you can go on for another hour, can't you, Harry?
He's done it before, but I would not make him do it again.
Like, if you want me to pass out, maybe.
What was I going to say? We're still recording, aren't we?
We are. Yeah. You haven't. You're still talking, so.
Okay, well, I don't know how privy the audience needs to be of this, but we'll prepare for the project in our own time.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. If anyone else has any final thoughts, then please feel free to say them.
Not particularly. I probably would say more if I wasn't dying right now, but yeah.
All right, then. Well, we thank you all for joining us for Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. Please follow us on our Blue Sky accounts, because the 4 of us here have Blue Sky accounts.
Yep.
And that'll be it for now, I guess. Have a good night. Please take care.
All right.
Goodbye.
See y'all.